Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines and the numbers here while we run them. We got Google in the news. We got the ETH merge. Ripple Swell's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to want to know about it. XRP and Cardano, I'm going to take a look at that. ExRegulator continues to cash in. BG settles with Securities, says Brad Garlinghouse with the XRP ledger and insurance settlements. You need to hear that. And there's also an update right now in the SEC versus Ripple filing a 90-page brief. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. It's $1,088 billion for the market cap for crypto right now. Shout out to CoinPeprika. Download that app. And we're looking at this. The numbers are 21,000 for Bitcoin. Number 2 spot is Ethereum. The number 7 spot is XRP at 34 cents. What I have right now is my favorites pulled up for everybody so we can look at that. Again, we're going to go over just some of what my digital perspectives are on investing and how I'm looking at my portfolio this day and age, and it changes daily. But, you know, I want to share it with you. It's just digital perspectives, not financial advice. You can see these are the favorites that I'm watching and or holding. And I'm pretty much holding at least a little bit of everything here, some more than others, obviously. But I love this chart because I can go to the all-time highs on the CoinPeprika. Look, 68% off from the all-time high 288 days ago for Bitcoin, 65+% for Ethereum, 85% for Cardano, 90% for XRP, and so on. VeChain 90% off, 96% off for Bitcoin Cash. Shout out to Roger Ver. 94% off of IOTA, which I have none at this point, but I intend to get some, not financial advice. But I just love being able to look at those metrics. And depending on the day, I may use a different metric to kind of like, what am I going to put my little piece of pie into today? Is it going to be IOTA? Is it going to be something else? I don't know. But I love looking at that chart laid out like that to really give me ideas of what's off by the most and what I want to really fill in my bag. This is Link to Private Investing Made Simple. Killer deal here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a Link to member, click the link to get the deal. If you're wanting to be a member, click the link, get the deal. Listen to Ray Fuentes right here, lay it down.
Hi everyone, Ray here. Effective today, Link2 is thrilled to cater to all first-time investors on the platform with an opportunity to invest in the portfolio company Ripple for as little as $5,000. The reduced investment minimum for Ripple will last for today only and couldn't come at a more opportune time, as we just announced the reduced Link2 price for the portfolio company yesterday. Despite the reduced Link2 pricing for the company, Ripple remains a strong company. In fact, they're only showing signs of growth. Ripple recently announced a partnership with pioneering Brazilian finance, TravelX Bank, to bring crypto-enabled payment solutions to Brazil, expanding into new corridors and use cases. So to reconfirm, effective today, Wednesday, August 24th, the investment minimum is $5,000 for the portfolio company Ripple. Use your Link2 bucks if you got them. The team at Link2 is doing everything in our power to make that first-time investment that much easier for you. That's all.
They really are. And shout out to Ray Fuentes and the Link2 team. Let me tell you something. It is a hell of an opportunity you're looking at right there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mess around. I love working with them, but I love being a member. And I tell you, there are some incredible opportunities. The link underneath the video. Tell them Brad sent you. Tell them Digital Perspective sent you and told you to come on in. Yeah. Google has invested in a whopping $1.5 billion in blockchain companies since September, concentrating on 4 companies, including Dapper Labs. Look, we're in a very depressed crypto market, and some believe, and I certainly do, that we're going to see a real downturn at some point here in the conventional economy. Now, look, I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see how it. I don't see how it's unavoidable at this point. So, but look, Google is still drilling down with 1.5 billion into blockchain companies since September, and we know beyond that, right? Because we also know Google Ventures is a seed investor in Ripple as well. All these companies are still preparing for what they know is going to be the next iteration of the internet of value. Speaking of which, Ripple Swell 2022 London right here, November 16th to the 17th, and not right here, but in the UK rather. You can click that and see if you can get you an invitation. I can't wait to see the keynote speakers and all that are going to be involved. I didn't see a link for any of that information as of yet. But Ethereum Foundation confirms the dates in September for the merge are the 15th and 16th, right? And let me see if it's changed here, because I did have the article open, but I'm pretty sure it was the 15th and 16th, unless they've moved it again. Okay, so sometime between the 10th and the 20th, they've widened it. Look, I'm going to tell you something. You know, ETH holders, I want you to be so successful. I want this to go so well for you. I hold ETH at times. I've held a lot of ETH. I've held not so a lot of ETH at times. I don't currently have a lot of it at this moment, but I mean, I could tell you, I hope it goes well. I hope this doesn't turn out to be the Geraldo Rivera opening up Al Capone's safe live on television, right? Yeah, you know, that's the difference here. Is that, you know, when you see a company like Ripple, they tell you they're going to be launching something, you can bet your ass they've already tested it. See, in this particular instance, they don't really have that ability to like, hey, we've been running it for 6 months and it works great. Let's start advertising that we're going to do this thing, right? This is actually going to unfold in real time. And again, I hope it goes well, but the ETH merge, boy, I hope it works for you guys. I got a hell of a risk appetite. Not that much. XRP and Cardano keep bringing in the money despite crypto market depression. Well, look, the first thing I thought about this, and I read the article and I don't need to read it to you, but I'm just going to tell you what it made me realize is that in this down market, what brings us out of this market is use case utility. Now, whether that shows up in XRP or Cardano or either one of them remains to be seen. Right? I mean, we can't know which ones will go, but it's what I think of from what I've learned about both of those projects. And we see ExRegulator continue to cash in. Yeah. Mr. Suya on the last day in the SEC, Jay Clayton. Yeah. How about that guy? Ooh, real class act, bro. Ex-SEC Chair Jay Clayton joins the crypto investor Electric Capital as an advisor. There's not much else to learn from this, but the Electric Capital did raise $1 billion for 2 new funds earlier this year. So that is quite an effective little venturing company there. No question about it. But yeah, he continues to cash in. Mr. I want to see clarity after I wouldn't provide any during my tenure as the SEC chair. This is a fantastic video. It's from Binance Academy and shared by Bull Deep here. Stephen Bull Deep, we appreciate you. I remember the old Twitter handle. Let's take a listen because this really explains it, and then we have something else to take a look at here.
The XRPL is stable, scalable, fast, and energy efficient. It has continuously confirmed transactions since its deployment in 2012. While supporting more than 1,500 transactions per second and transaction speeds of 3 to 5 seconds. Transactions are cheap. The average transaction cost on the XRPL is less than a fraction of a penny. The XRPL is friendly to our planet. It is the first major blockchain to be certifiably carbon neutral. The network uses a federated consensus protocol to confirm transactions in which designated independent servers, known as validators, must come to an agreement on the order and outcome of XRP transactions. All verified transactions are processed without a single point of failure, as no single participant can decide which transactions take priority. The cryptocurrency native to the XRP ledger is XRP, a neutral bridge asset that is optimized for payments anywhere. With billions of XRP traded daily, XRP functions as a medium of exchange to facilitate cross-border payments quickly, cheaply, and sustainably. It can also be used to transact on XRP Ledger's decentralized exchange, DEX, or engage with tokenized assets. The main applications of the XRP Ledger are payments. Using the XRP Ledger, assets can be moved across the world, enabling near-instant money transfers for remittances, treasury payments, payrolls, and other cross-border payments. Tokenization. The XRP Ledger supports the tokenization of any asset, from fungible tokens, stablecoins, NFTs, and central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. As of May 2022, more than 5,400 currencies have been issued and traded on the XRPL. DeFi. Financial products and services can be accessed via XRP Ledger's DEX. The DEX is native to the protocol and uses a central limit order book model to trade digital assets. Users can access the DEX through a variety of order book interfaces to trade directly on the XRP ledger. Thanks to its global developer community, the XRP Ledger's open-source platform is suitable for C++, Java, JavaScript, and Python developers seeking an environment to build new projects or use cases. The XRP Ledger offers great flexibility for developers to create use cases across tokenization, settlement,
and so forth. Listen, that isn't all either. And that's a lot right there. And again, an amazing video, and endorsed right here, we should say, by Matt Hamilton, former XRP developer there. Says, wow, think this is, or Rippler at least, I think this is the first accurate, honest, and concise third-party video I've seen on the XRP Ledger. How about that one? But don't forget, they got the private ledger for central banks, more centralized control, right? And don't forget, they even talk about utilizing the efficiency on the XRP Ledger for use cases of settling securities and insurance settlements. Oh, I agree. Something's brewing.
Let's go to Brad first. You mentioned there are other potential applications of Ripple's technology beyond cross-border payments. What are some of those applications and use cases that you're exploring?
I'm not going to give away everything that we're working on, but the way I think about this is that any transaction that has a middleman, any transaction that requires someone to kind of commute the trust between the transaction, with security settlement, insurance settlements. There are a lot of transactions out there that have a lot of friction. This morning I was talking to a very interesting startup called Proppy, looking at residential, tokenizing real estate and using kind of effectively an NFT to transfer the ownership of a home. Ripple has been, because our customers tend to be financial institutions and banks, some of those customers will approach us and say, hey, look, we see these other vertical applications of how you could use a blockchain like the XRP Ledger because of its efficiency to solve other problems. But we haven't really, we're doing some lending stuff that we've talked publicly about, but beyond that, nothing too public.
Yeah, nothing too public. Listen, I'm reminded in this of the news of R3 and the DTCC, which really custodies and settles everything in the form of derivatives back end, right? So this is pretty remarkable, knowing that R3 and XRP certainly will have a connection in this digital world. To what degree it will be remains to be seen. But again, it also reminds me, when I think about this whole, security settlement, the distributed ledger vote unanimously by the SEC to move up using distributed ledger technology to get to same-day settlement. Right? So there is something brewing for sure here. And don't forget about this when it comes to how this new system is going to work. Listen to this from Brad Garlinghouse a few years ago.
Vitalik, one of the founders of the Ethereum ecosystem, he was on a panel at a Ripple event, and the question he was asked was, who's the competition? And he pulled out a $20 Canadian bill and said, this is the competition. I couldn't disagree more. If we go out and say we're going to attack the system or attacking fiat, at the same event we had Ben Bernanke come and speak, and he's like, look, central governments will control M1 money supply. This is fundamental to being a sovereign nation. And so this idea that I agree with Katie, I don't call it cryptocurrency. I refer to them as digital assets. Cryptocurrency suggests I'm going to go to Amazon and buy things with this.
You pay with currency, right? This is a new asset class. Yeah. And I think a lot of people in the space think these are new asset classes, and they're all, quite frankly, very different. I mean, the asset class that you have, XRP, is very different from Ethereum, is very different from Bitcoin.
And there you have it. And in that statement, Brad Garlinghouse is really acknowledging that this is not a consumer-facing product as he sees it. Brad Garlinghouse has said countless times, I wouldn't get a haircut or buy a cup of coffee with XRP. He has said that many, many times. Now, does that mean that ultimately there will be no retail-facing products for XRP? I don't know. Probably not. I'm sure there will be. But will we see a day where XRP is priced at a point that's so high that what we're actually talking about on the daily is getting drops of XRP more than getting an entire XRP? I think a day like that could happen. Now, is that 5 years out? Is that 10 years out? Is it 5 weeks out? You know, I never have pretended to know the answer to that, but I certainly believe things are like that are possible in my mind. Now, what are they afraid of? Very quickly, I did cover this morning, but, shout out to cowboy.crypto for really tying that video with this one I did this morning. I'm not going to play it again, but the real fear here, talking about global stablecoin legislation, a stable value money that is not backed by a government, but is a non-state currency or a non-state token utility, right? And in that, the real fear, I believe, from governments around the world, not just the United States, is that a private company, possibly like a Ripple, or offer a payment token like XRP, could really work their way to a point, if enough liquidity and utility make its way to its network, then you could see that asset become so extremely valuable over time that it could scare other governments and regulators about the idea that this bridge asset could technically become the global reserve currency, or certainly sit beside the one that exists now, which is the US dollar. You know, I know it's a bridge and a complement to the old system, right? It's not a disruption. It's actually an insulator that helps to insulate the spillover shocks of certainly what we know to be the economy that is going to have to pay for all of this money printing at some point. Let's change gears very quickly here, because this is from Jim. Thank you to James K. Filing here. The SEC has filed a request to file one omnibus big reply up to 90 pages in length. Wow. I wonder if they're going to say anything new in any one of those pages. In further support of its motion to exclude testimony of defendants, expert witnesses, talking about Ripple's witnesses, I want to remind you, don't forget that Ripple came out and asked for a narrowly tailored redaction to submit a number of exhibits to the briefs filed by the parties in opposition to the motions to exclude expert discovery. And don't forget, I feel like, in some part, this is SEC's, response to that, right? Trying to be as hard to deal with as they possibly can, and doing a very good job at it. But remember in this that there was mentioned here, second, disclosure of any identities, non-parties, third parties, basically having no bearing on the expert Dalbert responses. It's saying disclosure would be detrimental to Ripple's non-parties' legitimate privacy interests, to Ripple's commercial relationships with those clients, customers, partners, right? And look, I feel like it's such a valid thing, just like, Brad Garlinghouse in this video clip was talking about the idea for security settlements and insurance settlements. But when asked, what are all the use cases you're working on? He's like, I don't want to give away the farm here. Basically, he's paraphrasing. I don't want to tell you every single thing we're working on, because that's just not good business, right? And I think that's the same thing we're seeing in this request from Ripple. Now, obviously, now the SEC wants to file a 90-page brief omnibus on why the things that they've cited need to be redacted or taken out of the testimony from Ripple's side of the fence. This gets more interesting by the day, ladies and gentlemen. When I think about the idea and notion that there is much more really hidden about Ripple's business strategy, about pre-allocated option contracts and things of that nature, I think it is possible, one, that maybe we get to see evidence of some of that, even if it's not in great detail, in summary judgment. I know John Deaton said we should find out more than we do now about what is in the trial. So with that being said, Fred Rispoli had said the SEC claims that XRP has no utility. Ripple could disclose the number of banks, financial institutions have already signed contracts for billion-dollar escrowed XRP. This is speculative. It's possible, right, to be executed once non-security status is determined or some other trigger event, right? Protective order for case prevents SEC from making that public, hence a seal request. So, these things are possible. We're not saying they're absolutes. These are working theories about what may be happening, but we're seeing evidence that something is there that they don't want to disclose, right? And for that, I think we need to keep our eyes peeled and certainly everything on the table until it's not. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. That's where we are on this day. I'll catch all of you on the next one.